Hi everyone. I wanted to share a few pictures and a little video with you about my trip to China. This is a picture of the Beijing airport. It was a beautiful, very large building, and there were about 270 of us that flew in from different cities throughout the country. We were a collection of principals and some teachers and different coordinators that came to study Chinese education and Chinese culture. We were then taken to the Hanban headquarters, which is the main building for the teaching of Chinese as a foreign language. We were treated to different lectures and cultural events. And then later that evening, we heard different college professors present on the education system in China. One interesting note is that Shanghai schools were recently added to the International Studies Test, the PISA test, and they came out as the #1 educational system in the world. The next day, we left Beijing on a bus for a city called Tianjin, and as you can see, there are many new buildings popping up, and actually there are no people that live in these buildings right now, but these cities are growing so quickly they have to plan ahead. Tianjin looks much more like Minneapolis with its downtown skyscrapers, and it's got a very beautiful riverway there. This is what a typical apartment looks like. In most of the big cities in China, it's very difficult to find housing and apartments, and they're very expensive. So once you get a place, you usually stay there for your lifetime. The next morning, we visited a middle school and were met with flowers and an entire marching band. We were definitely treated like we were celebrities. All the different officials were there. We got a nice tour of their building with a show of all their awards and all the partnerships that they have. We then went in to observe some classrooms, and as you can see, every student stands up and greets the teacher at the beginning of each lesson, and they do the same and thank the teacher at the end of each lesson. During the middle of the day at this middle school, students were able to sign up for different clubs. We saw calligraphy, CPR, cooking, and some soccer classes. I was invited to try out a little calligraphy. The professor thought that I did a really good job and he told the whole class, but I think he was just being nice to me. This really nice young lady here, she gave me some of her writing as a gift. Gift giving is a really important piece of Chinese culture, and when you give something or take something, you always do it with both hands holding on to whatever it is that you're giving. This was one of the conference rooms in the schools where we met with the headmaster. The headmaster is the principal of the building, and that's a picture of him right there. The next day we visited another middle school, and I took a little video here of all their different exercises that they do twice a day. And as you can see, there are hundreds of students all moving in unison.
按压睛明穴，一、二、三、四、五、六、七。
After the exercises, the students walked back into the building very orderly. I really didn't see any need for a lot of adult supervision at all, even though there were so many kids. Students really follow the rules all the time, and they look at their teachers as like another parent. They're very, very respectful. In the afternoon, we went to observe a physics and a math lesson, and as you can see, anytime a student wants to answer a question, they have to stand up. Students were engaged in some really interactive lessons here. They were studying light and lenses. And the other thing I noticed is that there's not a lot of technology in the classrooms. There was a screen there and a teacher laptop, but that was about it. On the last evening before we returned home, we had a large banquet with all 270 delegates and our Chinese guests. Each of the different province regions that we visited were able to present. These are some of the friends that were in my group here that I met throughout the country. I hope you all enjoyed learning a little bit about my trip and a little bit about Chinese education and culture. I definitely missed you all, and it was really good to come home.